Welcome to Doctoring the Truth, the podcast where we pull back the curtain on healthcare gone wrong. I'm your host, Jenna Tennell, and with me is my delightful co-host, Amanda House. We're two doctors of audiology here to bring you inside real-life cases where once trusted healthcare providers veered off the ethical path into criminal territory. Amanda!
Jenna!
Hi. I don't know, my screen looked weird. I didn't know if we'd actually started, but we have. I see little speech envelopes.
Okay, yeah, I was going to say mine must just be like super far over to the right because I was like, where are my speech envelopes? Found them.
Oh, man. Well, happy Christmas. And by the time this comes out, we'll be talking next year. This is our next year.
Yeah, we'll be in the new year.
Oh, my gosh.
Right? It comes out on the 2nd, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, whatever Friday is. I don't know. It's all going too fast. But I used to be like, oh, I'm going to make resolutions. And it got to the point where, because our family, we used to write our resolutions out and then put them in our stockings. And then the next year we get out our resolutions. Yeah. So I just started recycling mine because it was always be super healthy, get fit, save money. It's all,
Yeah.
Spend time with family. It was just all stuff that you could just, so I started recycling it. And I was like, you know what? This is not meaningful. So for the last couple of years, I've just been more about, okay, what's on my bucket list for 2026?
Ooh.
So, Amanda, I want to ask you, what's on your bucket list for 2026? I know there's a big one.
Okay, yeah. I guess learn how to be a mom.
You don't need to learn. It's in you, girl. You're going to be a good mom, but you're going to be a mom. So that's your bucket list. Yeah.
So, yep, big item this year. Been waiting for this item, motherhood.
It's a little item. Aww.
Hey, that didn't take me long to pick something, so that worked out well for me.
It's inevitable. I mean, that's the big life marker right there. So I'm really excited for you and baby and Adam and Reason.
Thank you. And, so what's your bucket list then?
My bucket list is to be auntie to the new baby, but also I feel like I need to I've got a travel bug and it hasn't been satisfied in a while. So I feel like I just need to go somewhere just because, not because of a conference, not because of, got to take the kids somewhere. I want to go somewhere just because I want to travel. So that's on my bucket list.
Do you have a passport you need to dust off?
Yeah, well, it's so dusty, it's expired. So also on the bucket to-do list is renew that sucker. Yeah.
So maybe this year you do a domestic travel and then 2027 international.
There you go. It doesn't matter.
Or maybe you get wild this year and do both.
Yeah, I might go wilding around the U.S. Who knows? I mean, there's a lot of the United States is so big that it's a lot of the states are almost like a different country. Like, for example, even within a state, I feel like I'm in a different country right now, being way up north, and such difference in cultures and really interesting, I don't know, customs and food and ways of speaking and mannerisms. So there's just a lot to explore. So I think that's on my bucket list for 2026.
I love that for you.
Thank you. We have something to celebrate.
Oh.
That I just emailed you.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yes. Today. I do know. I was like, what is that?
I forget what it's called. So I just got an email from somebody from feedspot.com, and they do like rankings and groupings of podcasts. And they said, well, congratulations. You are, and they look across, it's a global thing, the most popular podcasts in different genres. And we appeared in the top 10 best medical true crime podcasts. Amanda, we appeared as number 3. Yeah.
I know. She sent that to me and I was like, holy cats.
Number 3. And the number 2 is it Mr. Ballin's Medical Mysteries, which I follow and I just absolutely love. He's on a Wondery platform. So listen, Wondery, if you want to pick us up, we're up there with Mr. Ballin. We're balling. So
we're balling at number 3.
Pick us up. So yay, go us. Feels
Thank
like
you to all of our listeners for downloading, rating, reviewing, subscribing, commenting, all the things.
Absolutely. So go us, go you, listeners. It just shows that what our little hobby is turning into something that people enjoy.
Yeah.
And what I enjoy almost as much as like the research and doing the podcast is being able to spend time with my friend Amanda.
I know. I
on
miss
a
you
regular
once a week.
It's so cool. It's so cool.
Since you've moved, I probably, well, I mean, other than your immediate family, of course, I probably get to see you more than anybody.
I know. So, yeah, everyone, and happy 2026.
Yeah.
Some of us started early. No, just kidding. That
was the baby. Yeah, totally. It's my case today, and, you know, I got that heartburn hiccup situation, so they're going to be there. You know what? They're just going to be there.
We just feel like it's baby Dr. House just interjecting. Hey, I'm here.
They're like, hey, this is fun. We do this every week. Here's my input. Yeah.
Do we have any corrections? Did Rich ever get back, our listener with the Bristol expertise?
Yes. He said no corrections. Well covered. Thank you, Rich.
Well done. Well done. Shout out to Rich.
Thanks, Rich. I guess I don't think that you replied to this yet, Rich. If you did, I missed it. I need to go back and look. But what the heck are weather pants? If you guys follow us on social media, Rich is an active participant on our Facebook page, and he sent a picture of his holiday, and it was like a coastal beach, beautiful, as we were stuck in a blizzard, and he mentioned he had his weather pants. And I said, what are weather pants? Because little old me in Minnesota, United States, I don't know what weather pants are.
You know what else is funny is that he's British. He's from the UK. So when they use the word pants, that means underwear. So Rich, you got special
maybe they're like
on?
long. Maybe they're long underwear to stay warm. Then
I need to know more.
Oh,
so let us know. Let our listeners know.
If that is about underwear, I guess. Sorry, I brought it up on the pod, but also you brought it up on Facebook. So
no, it's fair. It's fair game. Now
I was thinking like snow pants, but he's by water, so like rain water pants. I don't know. Let us know. Anyone from the UK, let us know what water pants are.
We're on the edge of our seats.
Yeah, my weather pants. Well, yeah, whatever those are.
Yes.
So, you know, as we mentioned, this year's coming to a close, and it's that time of year where we start thinking about improving our health, because that's usually everyone's go-to for a resolution.
Right.
And with improving our health, something that people often struggle with is enough protein intake. Mm-hmm. And we've all tried the powders and the cardboard tasting chalky shakes that you gag down, which, in fact, I just did try a new shake recently. I was like, this one will be so much better for me. I literally puked it up in the sink. So not going to call them out on the pod, but just saying, wasn't for me.
Not our sponsor. So.
No. Because now there's another option that I have not tried. Our new sponsor, Clear Protein. Jenna had heard about them from a friend, and she confirmed that these drinks are clear, refreshing, fruity, and delicious, with delicious flavors like strawberry watermelon or wild blue raspberry, which I can't say without thinking about the wild thornberries, if anyone's from that day and age. Shout out. We no longer need to worry about choking them down or puking them up in the sink. You just mix them with water, and you can avoid the extra calories and the thick and chunky taste of milk-based protein. Clear has 20 grams of protein with 0 sugar and 0 lactose, making it ideal for most diets. Clear, and that's Klear, helps build and maintain muscles, as well as supports endurance and recovery. And there's no bloating, unlike traditional lactose-based protein.
Amen.
Amen. Nothing like working out hard, eating good, and then you're still bloated.
Right?
Yay, gut
Unfair.
health.
Mm.
Elevate your protein game with Clear Whey Protein Powder. Lactose-free, sugar-free, and refreshingly delicious. Perfect for a flavorful, protein-packed boost. Visit clearprotein.com to receive an exclusive 20% off any product when you use our promo code STAYSUSPICIOUS. And again, that's clear with a K. Visit clearprotein.com and use our code STAYSUSPICIOUS for 20% off your products today.
Nice.
You know, I just scrolled to trigger warnings. I'm like, didn't actually think about if there were any. It's just a sad case. I don't think there's any trigger warnings. I will say, if anybody's Spanish speaking, a trigger warning for you, I guess, is I'm not. So if I pronounce things how they should not be pronounced, it's because I me hablo inglés, el only. So sorry.
Solamente inglés. Okay.
Yeah, okay. So I guess I forgot I was going to Google this earlier, but the name Jesica in English, like how would that be pronounced in Spanish?
Jesica.
Jesica? Okay.
But because she's called Jessica, I mean, that's an American name. It's not a Spanish name.
Well, okay, so actually I typed it with 2 S's because my Word doc kept telling me it was wrong and I can't handle squiggles underneath the... So it really is Jesica.
So it'd be Jesica Santillán.
Okay. Shall we just get into it? No trigger warnings other than me trying to read Spanish words.
Let's do it. You'll be great.
Okay, cool. Also, pre-apologies to the point of my pregnancy too, where I get out of breath really easily. So hiccups, out of breath, and bad Spanish skills. But if you can handle that, we got this. Cool. No doubt. Here we go. Okay. Experts estimate that as many as 98,000 people die in any given year from medical errors that occur in hospitals. That's more than die from motor vehicle accidents, breast cancer, or AIDS, 3 causes that receive far more public attention. In fact, more people die annually from medication errors than from workplace injuries. Add the financial costs to the human tragedy, and medical error easily rises to the top ranks of urgent, widespread public problems. Which brings us to today's case, where we will discuss Jesica Santillán. Jesica was born on December 26, 1985, in a small town near Guadalajara, Mexico, to Meiko Huerta and Magdalena Santillán. She was reportedly a sick child from the moment she came home. She vomited blood on her first night and had severe, frequent headaches and vomiting as a young child. When she was just 5 years old, a doctor diagnosed her with anemia and prescribed her iron pills. But as she grew, it became clear that something was wrong. Jesica, she tired easily and struggled to breathe. Ordinary childhood exertion left her exhausted, and over time, her symptoms worsened.
Poor baby.
I know. Poor sweet baby. Later, another doctor suggested that she might have a heart murmur, which prompted her parents to take her to Victoria, Texas, where an American doctor discovered that she had restricted cardiomyopathy, a fatal condition in which the left ventricle of the heart does not fill with enough blood to provide the body with adequate oxygen. The disease also caused progressive pulmonary hypertension, placing immense strain on her heart and lungs. In Mexico, the treatment options were limited. Jesica's condition was terminal without a transplant, and a heart-lung transplantation was not readily available to a family that had no money, no political connections, and no access to specialized care. In March of 1999, the family, who did not speak English, decided that they needed to take Jesica to the United States to get treatment. Magdalena had a sister who lived in Lewisburg, North Carolina, who had told them that they should go there and go to Duke Medical Center for help. They paid $5,000 to a smuggler to move the whole family, including her siblings, across the border.
Oh, man. Can you imagine how rough that was?
No, and you just want to help your baby. So while they were traveling through the Sonoran Desert, to add insult to injury here, thieves stole all of the family's money and items of value, such as Jesica's earrings were even stolen.
Oh.
So they had literally nothing more than hope at this point, and each other, I suppose. So when they arrived in Lewisburg, her dad took work in construction, and her mom took work as a housekeeper for Lewisburg College. Jessica's condition continued to worsen. She developed pulmonary hypertension and was short of breath whenever she exerted herself. She was evaluated at Duke University Hospital, one of the country's leading transplant centers. In the spring of 2000, doctors there confirmed what the family already knew, that without a combined heart-lung transplant, she would not survive. But the family could not afford the $500,000 operation. They did not qualify for Medicaid, given their status as illegal immigrants. Despite her undocumented status and lack of financial resources, Duke agreed to place her on the national transplant waiting list for a heart-lung transplant, which, of course, is a difficult and high-risk procedure, and it's actually performed fewer than 30 times per year in the United States.
Oh my gosh. That just reminded me of the episode where you talked about, how many surgeries somebody needs to do to be considered a specialist. I mean, and we were kind of scoffing at only 130 in the entire country.
Right.
Does anyone know how to do this?
And
holy moly.
This is now 25 years ago. So maybe it's went up a little bit, but if you think about it like a dual heart lung transplant, I can't imagine it's gone up much more.
Right.
Right?
Oh my goodness.
So Jesica was listed, but the wait would be long, and every day was a race against time. The family began raising money for the operation with the help of local churches and civic groups. For nearly 3 years, Jesica waited. Her condition worsened steadily, and she required constant oxygen and frequent hospitalizations. Despite all odds, seemingly against her, she still attended school when she could, learned English, and remained hopeful. Those who met her described her as gentle, polite, and unfailingly grateful.
Oh.
Throughout this entire time, her family continued to raise money for the operation while they lived simply in a trailer. Then, a forceful North Carolina businessman named Mac Mahoney, a Lewisburg home builder, read Jessica's story in a newspaper and adopted her cause, befriending the family. He created a grassroots foundation to begin raising money by building houses with donated materials and then selling them. All of the proceeds were to pay for the life-saving transplant. He became the family's advocate and spokesperson and served as a bridge between the Santillán family and institutions they didn't know how to navigate. He even spent tens of thousands of dollars of his own money for several of her heart operations in August of 2000. He established a nonprofit foundation called Jesica's Hope Chest to raise money and pay her medical bills.
Oh, wow.
Right?
Wow. My goodness.
Glad Mac bought a newspaper that day.
Jeez. What a big heart he had.
On February 7th, 2003, nearly 3 years after Jesica was placed on the transplant list, the call finally came. Donor organs were available through the New England Organ Bank. This bank had run a search on the National Registry of Potential Recipients and found 2 patients eligible at Duke, Jesica being one of them. This was the kind of story that hospitals use in upbeat brochures and public relation efforts, but a simple, avoidable error turned it into a deadly nightmare. Jesica was rushed into surgery at Duke for what everyone believed would be the operation that would save her life. Surgeons transplanted the new heart and lungs into her body, but something went terribly wrong. Surgeon Dr. James Jaggers almost completed the operation when he learned that the organs came from a donor with type A blood. He said that everything was going smoothly during the operation until 5 hours into it, when he got a call from a technician in the immunology lab saying that something was terribly wrong. Jesica's blood type was O positive. These blood types are not compatible, and this incompatibility should have been caught long before surgery. Blood type matching is one of the most basic and essential safeguards in organ transplantation. Yet the error was unnoticed until late in the operation after the organs had already been implanted. Dr. Yeagers said, quote, "We had already put in the new organs and we had actually come off the heart-lung machine, so off bypass. And we were planning to get ready to close the chest and move her up to the ICU. And it was about that point, about an hour and 15 minutes after we had put the organs in, that we got the call that this was an incompatible transplant. And we, of course, knew what that meant at that point," end quote.
Oh.
The organs functioned well for 30 to 40 minutes after she was taken off bypass, but their function deteriorated quickly and her immune system started attacking them. Dr. Yeagers admitted his mistake to the Santilláns and Mac Mahoney 1 hour after the surgery. According to Mahoney, Yeagers said, quote, "Duke didn't make the mistake, I did," end quote. And then he wept.
Oh.
Dr. Yeagers said that he was devastated. It's almost like death and dying reaction. It's that deep sort of sinking feeling, and it's completely helpless feeling that there's absolutely nothing you can do about it. I think my exact words to the family were that there had been a problem and that the organs we put into Jesica were type A organs and she's type O, and that's incompatible. And it's something that we didn't plan to do. It's an error, and we're going to do everything we can to make it work, he said. Duke promised to correct the error by attempting to get a new heart and lung for Jesica. They placed her back on the organ donation list as soon as the hospital learned of the mistake, although her odds for receiving a second set of organs quickly enough were very low. Less than 30 people, as I had mentioned, received heart-lung transplantations in the United States in 2002, leaving 200 on the waiting list. The hospital also requested that the family and Mahoney not say anything to the media about the medical error while they attempted to get new organs. Jesica would be kept on life support systems while the second transplant was sought. The family and Mahoney initially agreed to keep things quiet about the error, but Mahoney didn't feel as though Duke was doing enough to try and procure new organs, so he began talking to reporters in hopes that media attention would encourage people to donate organs and improve Jesica's chances for a second implant. He told reporters that Duke made a mistake and they were dragging their feet in correcting the mistake. Additionally, he told reporters that he was asked to stay quiet about the mistake. Duke's spokespeople would neither confirm nor deny the allegations. 60 Minutes presenter Ed Bradley asked, quote, "How did an operation performed by a team of expert surgeons go so wrong? What it came down to was a failure to communicate basic information. Not one of the more than a dozen people working at Duke Hospital and the two organizations responsible for getting the new heart and lungs to Jesica Santillán ever cross-checked her blood type before the surgery to see if it was a match with the blood type of the donor," end quote. But this is a good question. How did the operation performed by these experts go so wrong?
Yeah.
Ralph Snyderman, chancellor for the health affairs at Duke Hospital, had said at the time, quote, "We take responsibility for our part in the error," end quote. He had said that what was missing was a system of redundant checks, which would have prevented a single mistake from leading to a tragedy.
Oh, man.
But before we get more into the meat and potatoes of this story, it's time for a chart note. I don't know if I have enough breath.
Chart.
Take it away. Get it, Alley Cat. Welcome to the Chart Note segment, where we learn about what's happening in medicine and healthcare. Naturally, I wanted to cover blood types for the chart note today. Seemed fitting. So this may be review for some, others one of those like, oh yeah, I remember learning that 100 years ago, or perhaps new information altogether. So whatever camp you sit in, here we go. Blood type compatibility is ultimately a story about recognition, about how the immune system decides what belongs in the body and what does not. Every red blood cell carries identifying markers on its surface called antigens. When blood enters the body, the immune system scans these markers. If it encounters an antigen it does not recognize as its self, it treats it as a threat and launches an attack. This is why blood matching types before transfusion or organ transplantation is so critical. Incompatible blood can trigger a rapid and life-threatening immune reaction. In the end, blood types are less about labels and more about communication between the cells and the immune system. Compatibility means harmony. antigens and antibodies that coexist without conflict, while incompatibility sets off an internal alarm. Understanding these relationships has turned blood transfusion, organ donations, even, this is talked about even for my pregnancy, from a once deadly gamble into modern medicine's most reliable life-saving tools. And there was like a whole list I could have shared with you about this blood can go with this blood, but if you want to know that, you can look it up. But yeah, so like I'm O negative, and so like if the baby did not have the same blood as me, then I would have had to get a shot so that my body did not attack the baby. Luckily, the baby has the same blood as me, but yeah, but yeah, isn't that, it's just crazy.
It is crazy that can happen in the same body. Yeah.
I mean, you think about it more of like, oh yeah, this should definitely be compatible. I'm getting new organs.
Yeah. I mean, it's like a clerical error that's like so huge, but I mean, the surgeons are thinking on the higher level, like, how are we going to preserve this? How are we going to do this surgery? Like all this stuff. And it's this basic thing that should have had multiple checkpoints. Is this a viable organ? Well, how do we know? The state of the organ, how, viable it is. Blood type should have been on that check. There should have been a checklist. I mean, there's a lot of...
We'll get into that.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this is a new question, and it probably makes me sound not smart, but I'm not an organ surgeon, transplant surgeon. And Adam can probably hear me from the living room, so he probably knows the answer to the question, but...
If he does, he should
if you're taking organs out of somebody else, and they no longer have that person's blood running through them, why are they still like A positive organs if your blood's going to run through them?
I don't know. That must be remnants. I don't know. That's a good Adam question, or maybe a question for
Adam.
Smarter.
Come here.
But also, I don't think this is the surgeon's fault. I think this is the system fault.
Hi. I just want you to know we are live. But I have a question for you. Okay. So, organ transplantation. If you've heard any of the story, the gal that got these organs, the blood type did not match. So her body's rejecting the organs. Okay. But I pose, I think, a good question. If my organs were taken out and donated to someone else, so like my blood's no longer running through them, why does that matter for then the body that you go into, because their blood's going to be the one running through the organs? Is that a good question?
Yes.
Thank you. Can you hear him?
Question. He said, yeah.
Do you know why?
No.
Also not a transplant surgeon. Neither of us, but I just thought you might know.
Yeah, that's a great question.
Thank you for your first appearance on the pod, my friend. Love ya.
Me too.
We love you, Adam. We love your stories. We don't want any more medical mishaps from you, though, because they're too good.
Oh, there's more. No, we don't want any new ones.
We don't want any new ones.
Yeah.
Because Amanda needs some peace and quiet in her life.
I thought you were going to say, because it's Amanda's turn for a medical mishap. It's like, no.
He's done enough for both of you.
Yeah, agree. Okay, well, back to the story.
I mean, maybe we'll talk about this later, but I honestly feel like it's not the surgeon's fault.
We are going to talk about that.
It's a system fault.
I agree.
Everybody's fault.
A system's fault on more than one systems. I don't think it's just Duke's fault either.
Right.
But we'll get into that. So Duke took responsibility for the error and began emergency efforts to save Jesica's life. She was placed on life support, as I mentioned, and they worked with United Network for Organs Sharing, so UNOS, to urgently locate another compatible set of organs. We would later learn how soon the breakdown of communication started. Dr. Jaegers, I don't know if it's Jaegers or Jaegers. Sorry, sir.
Doesn't matter. Let's keep going with Jaegers.
Okay. Oh, I've said both, so that's why I mentioned.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Yeah. Okay. So he received a phone call in the middle of the night because he was the on-call heart transplant surgeon, and he received the call from Carolina Donor Services, which was the local agency responsible for placing organs with compatible recipients. They informed him that they found a donor in Boston for a different patient of Dr. Jaeger, Dr. Yeagers knew that he couldn't use the organs for the patient that they had called about, but asked the agency if the heart and lungs would be appropriate for Jesica. Several hours later, he was informed that he could have the organs because they called another doctor from somewhere else and were like, hey, do you want these? And he was like, no, it doesn't fit, too small for the body cavity, blah, 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 whatever. So they called Dr. Yeagers back and like, you can have them. So Carolina Donor Services stated that Dr. Yeagers was informed of the donor's blood type, but Dr. Yeagers says that he has no memory of them talking about it. He did not ask for any blood type information, he said, because, quote, I had satisfied in my own mind that if they offered me the organs, that she was a match, end quote.
This is the second time?
No, this is for the first.
Oh.
So for the incompatible organs.
First time? Okay.
So now we're learning, like, how quickly that breakdown.
Okay, this is the history. Okay. I thought it was like, okay, it didn't work, so they had to go back, and then for the second time, he didn't ask. Okay. All right. Sorry.
So there's no organ. Yeah, no. No, this is background. So Dr. Yeager still agonizes over the conversation, sharing, quote, I'm ultimately responsible for this because I was Jesica's doctor and I arranged all of this. But honestly, I look back and yeah, if I'd made one more phone call or if I had told someone else to make a phone call or done something different, maybe it would have turned out differently. But those are all 20/20 hindsight, end quote. As soon as Dr. Yeagers had found out that the heart and lungs were available for Jesica, he had sent a member of the transplant team, Dr. Lynn, to get them in Boston. And while there, Dr. Lynn was informed of the donor's blood type at least 3 times. Incredibly, he had never been told of Jesica's blood type, so he didn't know the organs were a mismatch, and that was yet another flaw in the system. From the donor to the recipient, there must have been at least a dozen doctors and nurses from Duke who were involved. So why did not one of them see that the donor did not match the recipient? Or here's another question. Rather than testing the donor's blood type over and over again, waiting for a light bulb, rather than like the Carolina donor people were like saying over and over what the donor's blood type was, waiting for a light bulb to go off in someone's head, why didn't they just flat out say they believed it was a mismatch?
I mean, did they? Or was this just like their protocol? We just keep saying,
no.
It's this type of whatever.
I mean, from the resources that I read, it did not say that they specifically, it just said that they kept mentioning to Dr. Lynn, like, this person's blood type is this person's blood type is this.
So they didn't feel safe. Were they trying to trigger a light bulb? Were they cognizant of the mismatch? Or were they just sort of like, okay, I'm reading about this patient, date of birth, blood type, whatever, assuming that other people were looking into it?
But like, obviously no light bulb went off.
Because honestly, if they knew it was a mismatch and they carried on, then the onus is on them. Yeah.
That's what it felt like. Yeah.
So many opportunities for better communication. Yeah.
Thank you. And then it feels a little like CYA where they're like, no, we told him on the phone. And then he's like, I don't remember that, but I remember everything else about the phone call. I'm not pointing fingers. I'm just saying more could have been done on both ends to prevent this from happening.
And his whole thing was, well, they're offering these organs. Obviously, they found out that she was a match.
And also, I made a note, why did they not demand testing prior to releasing the organs then?
Yeah, so I don't think they knew.
Because it seems like that's a standard protocol other places. Yeah, because why would you call me if you had organs that weren't a match?
Yeah, so that was...
Because the initial part of the phone call said it has a match for 2 people in your care or whatever, and mentioned the other patient's name first. And he was like, oh, no, that's not going to work. But what about this other one? So I don't know.
An extra special breakdown right there. I mean, there's a lot of opportunities for improvement in communication, but that was an extra special breakdown right there. Because that gave them pause to go, I don't know, let me look, instead of, yeah, let's offload these.
Yeah. Especially when there's so few in a year and still 200 people left on the wait list. Like,
yeah, because it deprives somebody else of the viable organs.
What may be the most disturbing is that UNOS, the national organization that oversees Carolina Donor Services and the New England Organ Bank, already had firm policies in place that should have prevented what happened to Jesica. Their policy requires that blood types of the donors and recipients be matched before the release of organs. Lloyd Jordan, who owned and operated Carolina Donor Services at that time, admitted that the company did not ensure that there was a match. We could have requested her blood type, and I wish we had, but we did not do that, he said.
So they were just hoping, like, okay, if we throw the blood type out there now, they'll check. Not just saying we haven't checked.
Yeah.
Oh my
We didn't
God.
check. Did you guys check? 200 other people on the wait list, but fuck it.
I can't believe this kind of thing happened. But I can. I kind of can.
I know.
Yeah.
So, against all odds, a second donor was found nearly 2 weeks later through Jesica's status, but her status was near death by this point. On February 20th, 2003, Jesica underwent a second heart-lung transplant. Her body appeared to tolerate the second set of organs. But while she was busy receiving the second set of organs, Mac Mahoney, was busy attempting to hold his own press conference in a university's auditorium. He was once again accusing Duke of trying to cover up a mistake and trying to keep him from talking to the media. Her family and Mahoney blamed Duke, saying if they had gone public immediately, another set of organs would have been found sooner. Which, I'm like, I understand that line of thinking, but if there's only 30 in a year, probably not. But
the cover-up is unsavory.
Yes, absolutely. Mm-hmm. They let that baby lay on that bed in there for days before they managed to do something about it, before they decided to fess up to what they had done, Mahoney said to CBS News. And in the meantime, all of her organs were ruined, and she's probably going to have brain damage. And guess whose fault that's going to be, he went on to say.
Well, he's definitely passionate, but he's also sensationalizing it. Like, I don't know. I don't know how I feel yet.
Yeah. The day after her second surgery, she developed brain swelling and intracranial bleeding. Duke spokespeople announced that she had suffered a severe and irreversible brain injury. She had, in fact, suffered severe and irreversible brain damage from the prolonged rejection, oxygen deprivation, and repeated surgeries, causing severe complications. On February 22nd at 1:25 p.m., Duke physicians determined that Jesica had died. Tests showed that she was brain dead and only being kept alive through life support. An electroencephalogram indicated no brain activity, and a perfusion showed no blood flow to the brain, a perfusion scan. Duke physicians, along with 3 interpreters and a priest, broke the news to the family. By now, though, the family didn't trust the physicians, and her mother didn't believe that her daughter had died. The physicians explained to the family that without the medications and machines that were assisting her to breathe, that she would no longer be alive, that she was brain dead. In response, the family gave doctors a copy of a document that they had signed earlier, which stated that they did not want life support discontinued without their permission. Her mother accused the doctors of trying to murder her daughter. Through a translator at a press conference, she said that she believed, quote, they were taking her off the medicine little by little in order to kill her. They wanted to rid themselves of this problem, end quote. Which is just such a heartbreaking statement by a mama who I can understand why her mind would go there. A simple lapse in communication caused all of this, after all, and she's going through the grief cycles, understandably cycling between anger and denial. I can't imagine. But on the other hand, as someone who is a healthcare professional, I think, of course, this wasn't intentional. Certainly a tragic mistake that easily could have been avoided by my favorite, communication. Come on, communication, you guys. But I don't think that it was ill-intended with the purpose of murdering anybody. But then I think about it further and I remind myself that we're hosting a medical true crime podcast. So I can't really say that either. But I don't believe that that is true for this case. So the doctors explained that the document applied only to patients in a coma or vegetative state and not to patients who were brain dead. And under North Carolina law, physicians do not have a legal obligation to continue treating a patient who has been declared brain dead. Jesica's heart stopped beating at 5:07 p.m. and she was taken off ventilatory support 3 minutes later.
Oh my gosh, I didn't know. I didn't know they differentiated that.
I didn't either.
Brain dead, then the doctor could pull the plug?
Yeah, I didn't know that either.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
It was Dr. Eva Grake, an attending physician in the PICU, who turned off the machines. That was unquestionably the most difficult situation that I've been in, or painful situation. I wanted so badly to have something else to tell them, but I had to keep telling them, This isn't a coma. This isn't a vegetative state. She's dead. We're so sorry, but she's dead, end quote. Jesica died at just 17 years old, and her funeral was 4 days later. Duke Hospital CEO William Fulkerson said, quote, "The vast majority of the time when medical errors occur, they don't occur because people are bad. They occur because organizations haven't yet developed the kind of systems that we need to be able to catch errors and prevent errors. Medicine is a very human endeavor, and humans are fallible," end quote.
Mm-hmm.
Duke Hospital went on to put steps into place to prevent such a tragedy from happening ever again. Everyone directly involved in the organ transplant process is now required to check and double-check the blood type of an organ donor and recipient before a transplant ever takes place. Dr. Fulkerson said that in regard to the impact this error had on Jesica's family, quote, "I can understand their sadness and their despair about all this, and I think that all of us have a really tragic sense about loss about this. But I'm confident that we did everything we possibly could for Jesica. We acknowledge that an error was made. We did everything we could to save her, to get her new organs, to treat her medically. And as tragic as that is, sometimes things don't go the way we want them to."
Mm.
A couple weeks after her death, CBS investigative program 60 Minutes broadcast an episode titled Anatomy of a Mistake, which detailed the simple error that killed Jesica, and fun fact, was a large resource for this episode.
Mm.
Not the video, I couldn't find the video, but I had a transcript, so. Her case also made headlines in the New York Times, Sunday Magazine, with the headline reading, "Half of what doctors know is wrong," and devoted the issue to exploring medicine and its myths. It was a bad time for American medicine in the media, and ironically also came during annual Patient Safety Week. Dun, dun, dun. Both of these media coverages reached millions on the same day, focusing public attention on the related problems of medical errors, transplant mistakes, and malpractice messes. Only 4 days later, the New England Journal of Medicine published a damning perspective article about Jesica's case entitled "A Death at Duke." It said, quote, "When a medical mistake receives this much attention, it affects the medical profession and even public policy," end quote. Her death sparked national outrage, and the case became a symbol of preventable medical error. Not a failure of technology, but a failure of systems, communication, and accountability. Duke did publicly acknowledge responsibility, calling the mistake unacceptable. Hospital leadership promised reforms, including multiple independent blood type verification checks before transplant surgeries. And the transplant community nationwide reviewed their protocols in response to Jesica's death. Privately, Duke reached a financial settlement with the Santillán family. The terms were never fully disclosed, but the hospital also established a perpetual charitable fund in Jesica's name to support pediatric care and patient safety initiatives. No criminal charges were ever filed, and no individual physician was publicly disciplined, though internal reviews were conducted. A very obvious lesson that was hopefully learned by Duke and its staff is that it is very important to strive for honesty and candor when communicating with patients about medical mistakes. Medical mistakes can destroy the trust that patients and families have in providers and organizations. If patients and families suspect that a provider or the organization is attempting a cover-up, they may become understandably distrustful and vindictive. Dr. Jaegers, to his credit, did admit his mistakes soon after it happened, showing a great deal of candor and integrity. The same could not be said of the Duke Medical Center, with them telling people to keep their mouth shut. In the years that followed, Jesica's Hope Chest continued to exist, raising money in her name. As the funds grew, Mahoney said that the remaining money would be used to help other sick children. Later investigations by journalists raised questions about the nonprofit's financial transparency and how funds were distributed. Over a 10-year period before and after her death, the charity brought in more than $450,000 in donations and revenue from home sales. Tax records show that the charity gave about $100,000 in assistance to families, and another $83,000 went to grants and allocations, but there's no explanation given on what those things were. Multiple board members for Jesica's Hope Chest said that they were never allowed to see any financial statements. So this financial discovery prior to Jesica's Hope Chest eventually dissolving, it's no longer a thing, added a complicated and controversial postscript to Jesica's story. But what remained undisputed, however, was that her life and death had changed transplant medicine. Jesica Santillán came to the United States seeking a miracle, and instead she became a warning. Her story exposed how vulnerable patients, especially immigrants, children, and the poor, can fall through the cracks of even the most advanced medical systems. Today, her name is still taught in ethics courses and patient safety discussions. Her story is a reminder that in medicine, the simplest of mistakes can carry the heaviest of costs. Her story, as tragic as it is, can teach us important lessons about patient safety, medical fallibility, honesty, and trust.
Wow. Well, first of all, thank you for an excellent rendering of this case and for bringing this up. It's definitely important. And I'm probably going to say something that's super unpopular, but the thought came to mind, no good deed goes unpunished, right? We have an undocumented immigrant, and the Duke Medical Center decided, well, we can't turn this person away. We need to take them on in all good faith. I don't think that, like you said, that they had any criminal or nefarious intent. And by the way, yes, we are a true crime and healthcare podcast, but I think we're bringing to light issues in healthcare, whether they were intentionally criminal or not. And this is a really, really good one. So she may have actually lived longer just because she was able to come to the States and be treated here. And I'm not saying that's satisfactory. I'm not saying that's a win. I'm just saying, what are the odds that she was the one who had to pay the price for the systemic failures here? And I don't think it was Duke. I think this could have happened at Johns Hopkins or Mayo, any of the other big organizations, which is why her death is not in vain. I think her death has led to realization of the checklist, the constant communication, the things that you cannot assume that are important and vital in every of these cases. So her death wasn't in vain. It's definitely a tragedy. The charity that was raised in her honor to be suspect and not transparent, that's disgusting. I mean, nobody deserves that. And come on. I hope that isn't true. I hope that people benefited from the fundraising, but I hate to see that. But I do understand that unintentional errors are part of what we need to embrace as a culture of safety so that we can get better. And it's so we need a culture of safety where we encourage learning from these system failures so that everybody takes a part, not just the physician, not just the nurse, not just Duke, but organ transplant companies and everybody in general, wow, unfortunately, this major error happened and all of us had a part in that. So how can we make it better? So rather than punitive, learning how to recreate a system that works. And that's the only way we get better. But also, I'm so sad that Jesica didn't make it. She was 17. I mean, I feel like she lived a lot longer than she might have with that sort of abnormality in her heart.
Right. And if anything, they lived with hope during that time.
Yeah.
Which they didn't have before they went to North Carolina.
Yeah.
I mean, they knew it was a dead end just waiting to happen before they went there. Still tragic that it didn't work out. But
I feel bad not only for the family and obviously Jesica herself, but I feel bad for the surgeon because he tried to do his best to take ownership, and I'm sure that he felt really culpable, but honestly, it was bigger than him.
Feels like he really took that on personally.
Yeah, it was bigger than him.
And I agree with his statement of if a donor bank called me and offered me organs, I'm going to assume they're a match.
Yeah.
Could they have had that conversation? Sure. Hindsight 2020. But why are you calling me about organs if it's not even viable?
Yeah. Oh, fascinating case. Thank you. Thank you, Amanda, for bringing that up.
You're welcome. All right. So for our second and last sponsor of the day, I think it's going to have to be our last mention of Molly B's because of the aforementioned New Year, New You goals with sponsor number 1. But so for the last time to round out 2026, Molly B's.
Unless you get everybody else eating cookies, so you can look better.
Hey!
Just kidding. That's evil.
I guess there's an idea. Molly B's gourmet cookies are available at mollybees.com, and they bring bold, artistic, small batch craft cookies straight to your pantry. They are known for your melt in your mouth texture, high quality ingredients, and inventive flavor combinations, as confirmed by Jenna's order.
Yes.
Each cookie delivers layered textures and surprising, indulgent tastes. We heard about Jenna's favorites last week, which are standouts for other customers as well, raving about flavors such as the tea cookie, Be Cordial, and Big Joe, and the Boss Man. Molly B's cookies were founded by Molly, who's a single mom from Alaska, and as we know, they are a hit, and she's been featured on the Food Network, Martha Stewart Living, and they've even been served at the Grammy Awards. They're perfect for gifting or indulging, and you can find them at Molly B's, that's mollybz.com, and enjoy 10% off your order with our code Stay Suspicious. Stay suspicious.
Stay suspicious.
Shush.
It's a time for a medical mishap.
'Tis time.
Do we sing these?
I don't know. I'm so out of breath. I ain't singing anything.
Mishap. All right. Well, shall I read this one?
Sure.
Okay. So the subject line is, the monitor was right even when everyone else was wrong. Uh-oh. And it starts, hi, Jenna and Amanda. I work nights at a big hospital system and oftentimes listen to podcasts on the night shift to help pass time. I'm a telemetry tech, and this is a story I've never shared publicly, mostly because for a long time I wasn't sure anyone would believe me, but also HIPAA. Uh-oh. Rest assured, this story is compliant. Oh, good. I'm glad I was.
Okay, perfect.
I was like, are we going to? So at work, I sit in a windowless room watching dozens of heart rhythms at once. Most shifts are quiet in the way only constant vigilance can be. That sounds really hard. Alarms go off, nurses respond, things settle, but one night, something didn't settle. I was watching a patient admitted for, quote, generalized weakness, unquote. Nothing cardiac, no chest pain, no history that screamed danger. The rhythm had been steady all evening. Sinus, a little slow, but nothing alarming. Around 2:40 in the morning, I noticed a change. It was subtle at first. The rhythm looked off. There were slight pauses and then a longer one. The monitor flagged it as an artifact, but my gut said it wasn't. So I called the floor. The nurse told me the patient was sleeping and she just checked on them and the vitals are fine. She said she'd keep an eye on it. 5 minutes later, the pauses were even longer. The rhythm slipped into something that made my stomach drop, so I called again, and I was firm this time. I said, check the patient. I wrote that more aggressively than I was in real life, but that's how I wanted to come through the phone. I mean, it was all in shouty caps. They look fine, I was told. We'll check when we can. At 2:58 a.m., the line went flat. I froze for half a second, then hit the code button and called the unit again, my voice shaking as I said, they're in asystole. This is not an artifact. The code team arrived fast. Too fast for how long that flat line had already been there. The patient was pulseless when they reached the room. They got them back barely. Later, after ICU transfer and paperwork and silence, a physician came down to telemetry. He stood behind me watching the playback. That was an artifact, he said quietly. No one ever blamed me, but no one ever apologized either. The nurse said she'd followed protocol. The monitor had flagged it incorrectly. Everyone did what they were supposed to do, except the patient's heart didn't care about protocols. I think about that night a lot, about how the quietest person in the hospital can see the loudest warning signs, about how technology can be right and still ignored, about how close we came to a very different ending.
I didn't mean to laugh, but my dog just farted so loud on the floor. And if for some reason my microphone picked that up, I swear.
I'm so sorry. I was like, this is a poignant moment and you're laughing your ass off.
I know, I'm so sorry. But if she's even sitting up now, she's like, what? Whoo, sister. Oh my God. Ugh.
Raven, you're farting in an inappropriate moment. All right, breathe through your mouth. Breathe through your mouth. All right. So back to the email. The patient survived, thank God, but with significant complications. I don't know what their life looks like now. I just know that every time someone calls telemetry, just a monitor watcher, I remember that flat line and how close it came to being permanent. Thank you for giving space to the stories that happen behind the scenes, the ones no one sees, but everyone depends on. Andy. Oh my gosh, Andy. Oh my gosh. Well, it seems to me that people have belittled your significant contribution to maintaining life. So God bless you and carry on doing the work that you're doing.
If your position wasn't important, it wouldn't exist.
Exactly. Oh my goodness. And thank you so much for writing in about your experience.
And I'm so sorry I interrupted with a dog fart.
I mean, we needed a moment of levity, I suppose.
Oh, boy.
Raven, your timing needs needs a little work.
Whew. She just stumbled out of here. Adam, she needs to go to the bathroom. But yes, and what a perfect story for this case also. It's like, well, we followed the protocol. It's like, okay, but sometimes
you gotta use your brains, people.
We gotta, yeah.
Have to communicate.
So, Jenna, what can we expect to hear next week?
Well, next week, we're going to talk about toxic skincare products.
Ooh.
Yeah. So, you're going to be shocked. I was so shocked. You're going to be shocked. So, it's a really good episode. I've dug really deep into the research, and I can't wait to talk about it. But until then, don't miss a beat. Subscribe or follow Doctoring the Truth wherever you enjoy your podcasts for stories that shock, intrigue, and educate. Trust, after all, is a delicate thing. You can text us directly on our website at doctoringthetruth@buzzsprout.com or email us your own story ideas and comments at doctoringthetruth@gmail.com. And we do take your story ideas and run with them. So keep them coming. Be sure to follow us on Instagram at Doctoring the Truth Podcast and on Facebook at Doctoring the Truth. We're on TikTok at Doctoring the Truth and EdAudPod, EDAUDPOD. Don't forget to download, rate, and review so we can be sure to bring you more content next week. But until then, listeners, stay safe and stay
suspicious. Please stay suspicious.
Suspicious.
How
You looked
rough.
up your exit song on
Exit song?
Yeah, you can go into TikTok and search your personal 2025 exit song, and it gives you a song. It's so funny.
I would be curious what the EdAudPods one is. Because this is very daunting music on there.
I know. Let's look at what EdAudPod's exit song is. But until then,
just search exit song.
Oh,
exit song. Okay, I'll do that.
2025 exit song.
Okay, goodbye.
That's the exit song?
No, I was saying goodbye to you. I'm saying goodbye to everybody.
Oh, okay, bye. All right,
yeah.
Are we going to stop? Are we going to stop recording?
3.
Okay, 1, 2.
Oh, God. Okay,
my 2.